Well, good evening, everyone. My name is Harry Waring, and I have the honor of hosting tonight's virtual event. Welcome to EHM's Virtual Sessions. Just a note to the audience, we're going to be taking questions for the band coming up, but send them in the chat to me during the session, and I will call on you in a little bit, in a couple songs. We're going to try to fit as many as we can. Well, tonight's guests, Max, Sean, and Griffin, are a trio from Maine that have been together for about a decade, and they made their, national debut a couple years back. I remember actually seeing them as a musical guest on Conan. Now, in the past few years, they've been busy touring, putting out 3 albums, including their latest, Good at Losing Everything, in the EHM New Music bin with the song Love at Your Convenience. Please welcome tonight the Ghost of Paul Revere. How are you guys?
Great.
Yes, it works. You can hear me. I wasn't sure at first. Thanks for being here. We appreciate this. Where are you guys right now? Are you in Maine? Or?
We are. Yeah.
Very nice. I guess we'll start kind of at the beginning a little bit to get to know you guys a little bit. How did you guys meet? When did you formally become the Ghost of Paul Revere?
We met probably 30 years ago.
Wow.
On a playground. Maybe at Eliza Libby Elementary School. We were approximately 3 or 4 years old. Max and Griffin met before that when they were 2 years old.
Oh, wow. You guys are...
And then we just put our little baby brains together, and it took us about 24 years to come up with the name Ghost of Paul Revere, but...
And to start playing music together.
I do have to ask about the name because people have asked, and I've heard various stories on this. So I'm going to ask you guys, where did it come from?
I think the first thing we wanted to do with the name was come up with a different story every time, and then we forgot to do that. It came to me in a dream in college, and I couldn't really shake it. So it stuck around for a couple years until we decided to form this get together and play some music in 2011, I think was the first time we got together and played some tunes. So yeah,
Very nice. Tell us a little bit about, you guys describe yourselves by a certain term. I guess what drew you to folk music, but you guys call it holler folk. How did that come about?
Well, it's weird kind of, when we first started playing, a lot of it was, Griffin was doing a solo project called Griffin, Cherry, and the Ghost of Paul Revere. Sean and I were singing with Griffin a little bit before that. So we started picking up, Sean had played some bass, I had played some guitar, so I started playing banjo, Sean started playing bass, but we basically stuck to acoustic instruments because we couldn't afford amplifiers and couldn't really afford the space because we were all living in our parents' house after college, / travels at that point to kind of make a lot of noise. So acoustic instrumentation was where we kind of landed, and folk music was definitely a big kind of inspiration at the time. So that's where it kind of the instrumentation definitely came out of a desire to just kind of build a base for the 3-part vocals that we had found out kind of naturally worked very well for us, and a thing that we really loved doing.
Very nice. So tell us a little bit about the new record. We want to hear a song, and I guess we'll start with that. Do you want to do one from the latest release?
Yeah, we'll play the title track for the record. The song's called Good at Losing Everything.
It's the Ghost of Paul Revere here on EHM Sessions, 92.9 and 96.9 EHM.
1, 2, 3, 4. Second-hand suit, I saw the casket that they fit for you. Step outside and light a smoke and shame. Even after you're gone, I didn't learn a thing. Well, every night I lie awake wishing for another day. If there's one thing I learned about life, my friend, you get good at losing everything. If there's one thing I learned about life, my friend, you get good at losing everything. Ooh. You get good at losing everything. Well, listen, man, I want you to know it'll hurt like hell, but it's okay to go. There's one thing I learned about life, my friend. You get good at losing everything. There's one thing I learned about life, my friend. You get good at losing everything. If there's one thing I learned about life, my friend, you get good at losing everything.
So we just heard a song from the new record, which is actually just came out at the end of August, if I'm not mistaken. And I kind of wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about what it's like, the transition, being a band that's local and works really hard, and then transitioning to a national band. What has that journey been like for you guys?
It's been pretty fun.
I would imagine it's got to be rewarding to see it grow over the years. And is this what you guys started out doing? It's certainly not an overnight thing, that's for sure.
Yeah, we've been doing this for 9 years now, and it like went from not really being able to get shows on stages to like now we can go to the West Coast, and like, you know, our thoughts are with everybody out there, and it's crazy to roll into a town like San Francisco and have a crowd of 400 people sing along to your songs. Like it's pretty crazy because it's about as far away from home as we can get.
I would imagine you guys have done a great job staying local though, and really keeping to your roots. You created a music festival, right?
Yeah, Ghostland, which unfortunately because of the times we couldn't do this year, but it's on for next year, which is great.
It's interesting to see. Now, you guys did a virtual version of it this year as well, just to keep it going. How has that evolved over the years? I guess you have a lot of friends in the community that are playing, but you've gotten some other names, too, to come in and play for the festival.
Yeah, the first year we did it all ourselves. We were parking people's cars. We were helping load in porta potties.
Wow.
And it's gotten to the point where, with the help of the State Theater here in Portland, Maine, we're able to put on an awesome concert all day. It's normally the weekend of Labor Day here at Portland on a peninsula that sticks out into Casco Bay. We've had people like Shovels and Rope and Raylan Baxter. This year we were slated to have Deer Tick, but like Griffin said, they'll still be there next year. It's just such a great day. It's really one of the best of the year for us.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are really plugged into Maine. How did you get the official ballot of Maine? Was that like a decree one day? How does that work?
Well, we had a couple really industrious fans who wanted to see it happen, and we kind of they reached out to us and said that they, you know, every time a state has the legislature opens up, there's a period where citizens can put bills forward, and that's basically what happened. Is they put a bill forward and to make it the official state ballot of Maine, our song 20th of Maine, and it got voted unanimously by the House and the Senate and signed into law by the governor.
Wow! Congratulations.
Thanks.
That it doesn't get any more official than that.
No, we're still waiting for our crowns and the key to the state, but it's coming.
Keep waiting. Another new one from the latest record. It's the Ghost of Paul Revere, part of tonight's EHM's Virtual Sessions. Thanks for everyone for coming.
Thanks.
That's what the fortune they're giving me.
Ghost of Paul Revere here on 92.9 and 96.9 EHM. Can you guys hear me okay right now? I just tried something. I want to make sure we're good. Very good. All right, so you guys sound great. The new album is out now. It's called Good at Losing Everything, and let's chat a little bit about the record. What was the writing process for this album like, and how has that evolved and changed over the past 3 records?
Well, I'd say that this process we had for this one was definitely the most premeditated and planned out. We also definitely put the most amount of work out of all our albums into the writing process of this. Yeah. We got together with the co-producer of this album, Spencer Albee, earlier on, 2018, the summer of 2018.
Yeah.
And we kind of had a writing workshop the entire summer when we were home from being on tour. And we'd go in with different combinations. Sometimes it would be just Griffin and Spencer, or Max and Spencer, or myself and Spencer. Or sometimes it would be a combination of the 3 of us and Spencer. And we just kind of workshopped these songs until we had about a list of 25. And then we had a whole month of pre-production where we workshop all these songs. And then we'd get down to like 18 songs. And then we'd whittle it down a little further when we were actually recording in the studio. And the way it turned out, I've got to say, I'm pretty proud of us. Not to toot mine own horn or nothing.
I think in the old days, I mean, we tend to bring songs kind of to each other like a fairly complete, stage. But they kind of transform when we bring them to the group. And in the early days, it was us just in front of a microphone in the room, kind of like we are doing right now, just playing the hell out of the songs. And you have to do it 30 or 40 times to get the right take. And it's like the old Elvis thing where, like, you do 40 takes and you end up choosing the second take you did. But as we've, like, kind of gone up and added sounds and made the records a little bigger, we still actually, this whole record, we performed totally live in the studio and added some things afterwards. But most of it is us playing with each other the whole time, which is pretty cool.
Well, now, I'd imagine with the state of the world, this is not how you envisioned releasing this record. What have been some of the challenges? Was this record done before everything started back in March, or?
Yeah, we've been, the funny thing in the whole industry is that, by the time you're ready to release, so much work has kind of gone into, mixing, mastering, and then the production for kind of the physical reproduction of the album. At the time that the artist is ready to kind of release, it's kind of a thing of the past, which is now something new for people. And so we were at that, it's been 2 years, so we've been working a lot on it. But at the same time, we were trying to figure out the best way to release this album. And touring live is such a big thing for us, and connecting physically, within the country. We've driven all over this country except for a couple states. That connection has been such a big thing for us that not having that available to release this album has been the hardest part, I would say. And to kind of spread the word the old-fashioned way by going and, putting it in front of people. But
you have done something creative. On it. Yeah, you have done something very creative, if I'm not mistaken. Have you done some drive-in concerts?
I think we're up to 10. We've got our two that we have in October just sold out too. So
okay, so have you done some in this past summer, or they're just coming up?
No, yeah, we did 10 of them this summer. So we did them kind of all over New England.
What is the what's that like? What reaction do you get? Because I've heard about comedians who do drive-in shows now, and it's just so different. And I imagine musicians. What is the what's that like to be up there in front of cars? It's got to be. It's obviously different.
It definitely is very, very different. Luckily, a lot of people are putting a lot of thought process into the eventual product. So there are folks who essentially turn these concerts into almost tailgate parties. You can pull in your car and you've got a bunch of allotted space to you that's safely between some other folks. And they'll have the PA system, they'll have the subs on, it'll be blasting out, it'll feel like an old show. Unfortunately, some people haven't quite gotten there yet, and they're still trying to transmit only through the radio system. We found that those shows are lacking just the energy that's kind of necessary to make it feel like it used to, as much as it can.
No, yeah, everyone has to stay safe and stay in their cars, so it changes that quite a bit. Let's do another track, and then we're going to get to some listener questions in just a bit. Let's do another song from the new record. Which would you guys like to do?
We're going to do a song called Loneliness.
Perfect. It's the Ghost of Paul Revere, EHM Sessions, right here on Zoom.
Empty drawers, unswept floors, pacing figure eights through every open door, unclean pans, stacked up cans, 30 years of smoking color pants, trips avoid the bathroom mirror, wouldn't show you any clearer now. Blinds left drawn, the TV's on. I'm always late, I'm always wrong. It's loneliness. It's living without you. Loneliness is living without you. In your head, stay in bed. Try to get yourself up, fall back down again. Is anybody even there? Siren calls, it's beckoning from empty chair. That is you can't avoid. Signs welling in the void now. Want to leave and not exist. Now that you found loneliness, it's loneliness is living without you. Don't worry about me, I'm doing just fine. You live your life and well, I'll live mine. You found a reason to live, well, I found the loneliness is living without you.
That was great. So the Ghost of Paul Revere, part of EHM Sessions tonight, doing one from their new record, which is out now. We're up in Maine, joining us on Zoom. We want to get out to our listeners to ask a few questions. I want to go to Eddie first, and let's see. Eddie's got a couple questions for you. Let's see if we can. Let's see if we can hear him. Eddie, are you there? Eddie. Well, Eddie first is curious whose living room you're playing in right now. Where are you guys?
We're in my house in Saco, Maine.
Very nice. I know he had a couple questions. All right, let's see what we can do here. Let's see. Let's go to Delaney actually right now. I know you had a question for the band. Let's see if I can get you on here. There we go. It does work.
Hey, I'm curious if you guys have a favorite release from this year by another band or artist, or like what you've been listening to.
we have really eclectic musical taste and kind of span all over. Although we have said a lot of folk / Americana / country. Or whatever.
Yeah, for sure.
What were you listening to when you were putting this record together? What was the, I guess as you evolve with your sound, is there a place you want to take the band? It's not
I think we've always just kind of gone with wherever our whim was at the time. You know, that's kind of the nice thing is not having kind of the foundation of like bluegrass and folk music. Like a lot of players in that genre, they grow up with that music and travel around festivals and learn the whole Bill Monroe songbook. And none of us did. Like we grew up listening to like Bruce Springsteen and Led Zeppelin and Pink Floyd and Radiohead and Nirvana and it'll kind of allows us to not feel like we have to stay in a genre. So I think that's kind of the exciting thing about writing a new Ghost record is that like we're playing music that doesn't necessarily fit with the instruments, but the instruments kind of add their own voice to it when we add our voices to it. And I know when we were making this record, I was listening to a lot of The Wild Years by Wings, a lot of Paul McCartney at that time, and also a good amount of when was it, 2018? So like a good amount of King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, and yeah,
I was definitely listening to Andy Schaaf around that time.
Oh yeah,
period,
for
in a
sure.
big way. And I'm still working through the Prince catalog. I'm kind of a latecomer to Prince, but at that point I had started my journey, and I think that was right around the time of solo piano.
Yeah,
or piano
I
on a
was gonna say
microphone.
that.
I mean. Which was a big one for me.
I think based off of what Spotify told me at the end of the year, my 2018 top picks were Daniel Caesar and the Fruit Bats.
Nice.
Yeah, both great.
Very nice. You mentioned the record, you finished it 2 years ago. So is there groundwork for the next one? And when can we, you just put this one out, so I feel like, you don't want to rush things, but have you already thinking about where you want to go with this? And have you used this time over the past few months to write and to work on new stuff?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we spent a lot of it kind of trying to evolve into this like new cyber space and learning how to do live streams and how to kind of building up the technology to record ourselves and learn videography and all those kind of skills. So we've been doing a lot of that over the last couple months, but I think all of us have been kind of consistently writing a lot, and we still have a lot of stuff from the last record that's still kicking around, and we're just about to go and do a writing retreat to start working on whatever the new Ghost sound's going to be. And we're going to try to get it out much quicker than we normally do, because normally it takes forever for a Ghost record to come out. So.
Well, congratulations on the release after a couple of years getting it done. Clara's got a question. I'm gonna shoot it over to her. Clara, are you there?
Hi.
Hi.
What's your dog's name?
This is Malachi.
Hi, Malachi.
That's awesome. Isn't that the name of the hawk? Yeah. Okay.
Or is it Mordecai?
Our question just was like, what are you like most looking forward to after like COVID's over? Like, is there something that you miss most?
I can't wait to go back to my favorite bar, which is a place called Whiskey's in Portland, and eat food in public. But I don't know. I would say top for me is play a show.
Yeah, a real show.
A real show, yeah. You know, close to fans, be able to meet people after the show and sell merch and do all those stuff that we can't do right now. It's a very strange time.
Yeah, or maybe I think maybe mine is just hugging someone without feeling really like having to go through a bunch of kind of preliminary, like, is it okay if we hug? Is it going to be all right? Like, are you in my trust tree? Can we hug? That'll be a big moment.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for doing this tonight. We certainly appreciate it. Let's do one more song before we wrap up from the new record. It's The Ghost of Paul Revere right here on 92.9 and 96.9 EHM Sessions.
This one's called Diving Bell.
Breeze our frost in the shady patch out there. Sway's differently now. Oh, by the way, the
quiet seconds in the diving bell. All I see is red tape, almonds, black sperm, for an immigrant. It doesn't count as dead, but I think I regret it. Far from the surface, I'm wishing you were in the diving bell, building the bridges from under the swell in the diving bell, diving bell. Kiss the coin toss where he stands, gasping fair. Rings with choices, all stone walls in his head. Not knowing the heights from which they fell. Alone now together in the diving pearl. All we had was golden pastures of a future of an immigrant. Doesn't count as dead, but I think I regret it. Far from the surface, I'm wishing you well in the diving bell, building the bridges from under the swell in the diving bell. Far from the surface, I'm wishing you well in the diving bell, building the bridges from under the swell in the diving bell.
Very nice. The Ghost of Paul Revere here on 92.9 and 96.9 EHM Sessions, joining us all the way up there in Maine. We wish them the best with the new record. Thanks for coming on tonight. What's the next plan? I know you have some drive-in dates coming up, right?
Yeah, we're going to be up at the Farmington, Maine Drive-In. It's an awesome setup they put together at the start of it all when they saw what was going to happen, and it's really one of the better drive-in experiences we've had. So we're going to be doing that during, some people call it Columbus Day weekend, but here in Maine it's Indigenous Peoples Weekend. So we're doing that Indigenous Peoples Day weekend. And then further on down the line, we're actually going to be playing a strictly socially distant show at Maine Craft Distilling here in Portland. Only 100 tickets are going for that. It's going to be that's going to be a really good hometown time.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys are sticking up in Maine. Stay safe. Thank you for doing this. We look forward to working on the next record here. What you guys have coming out and in the near future, and we hope to hopefully get back to normal, or at least some semblance of it, where you guys get up the road and come down to the New York, Long Island area.